A spiritual awakening is mandatory.
Life can be a contradiction.
But it doesn't have to be a lie.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Contradiction. Contradiction is a series by myself, Bernard Alvarez, and Roxy Lopez, in order to bring up issues, to bring up topic discussions about things in our life that have contradiction, whether they be of the spiritual nature, of the political nature, or of the activist issue nature. Today's topic is the contradiction of government. Boy, have we talked about this one. There is just so much contradiction in government. So without further ado, let me welcome Roxy to the show. And Roxy, tell us what is this contradiction of government. It's helpful, but it's deadly. I mean, there's just so much going on. So I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Bernard. Nice to be here. You know, contradiction in government is a real tough one because the way our United States of America was set up to be a republic and to be a democracy of check and balances, hence the Republican Party or the Independent Party or the Democratic Party, it's all for check and balances. It's why it was initiated, and it was also put in the hands of we the people. We the people are the governing laws. We the people were to hold government accountable because we elect them for one reason and one reason only. They represent our voices. They represent our choices, our needs, and our creative abilities to have a wonderful country. And as you well know, that's gone by the wayside. I think here is the contradiction that really kind of screws people up. We are patriotic of our country. We're supposed to be patriotic. I mean, seriously, I live here because I choose to live here. I can move out of the United States. I have that will, that free will to move. There's no law that prohibits me unless I'm a felon. There's no law that prohibits me from leaving this country. I love the people of my country. I love what it was initially set up to do and run and function as. The contradiction in this, though, is that how do you become or continue being in the spirit of patriotism when you're really angry? We are really angry at our government. We are angry at corporate America. We are angry at the United States corporation that has taken over and made choices that aren't yours and mine for us, who are not speaking for us anymore, hence cutting our voices off. How are we supposed to remain intact, patriotic, and really behind? Patriotism is we're behind our country and our country's choices. Well, a wonderful thing is happening. The walls are coming down and transparency abounds us. And when Obama said, you know, we were going to go to Syria, we said, no, we're not. I'm tired of these wars. It's the same movie over and over again. You know, we saw it with, you know, how many times David Letterman actually said this on his show last night in his little spiel when he comes out in his monologue. He said, how many times can we kill bin Laden? I love it. That's it, though. How many times? That's Hussein, all of them, you know, now Assad, and taking down Mubarak in Egypt, etc., etc., etc. It's the same movie over and over and over again. Let's not go there. What do you and I do about it? It's just like the 3D Matrix. Become aware. Become aware that the system in which we are living in is not the system that was set up and initialized. Number two, we have got to have a voice. You cannot wait for them, meaning government or corporations, to offer us a voice. It is our voice. There is nothing that has changed in the Constitution that says we the people are no longer we the people. All right? That hasn't changed. So what needs to change is we need to jump out of our contradiction, the way we look at it. See, we can't have our cake and eat it too. We can't say, oh my God, I can't stand the government. I can't stand the Federal Reserve. I hate the corporations. Yet we're complying with all of it. We have to be creative. We have to be outside of the box thinkers. And we have to say it's time to take our country back. And we have to be creative about that. As the vets, truckers, they're out in D.C. this weekend. They're heading out to impeach Obama. They have coalitions that they gathered together. Who are the truckers? The truckers are the people they're the backbone of our country. They bring us our food and our groceries and our goods. That's who the truckers are. And our furniture and everything else under the sun. Who are the vets? The vets. The Vietnam vets. Some of these vets are in their 80s and 90s. They served in a war under the guise of protecting our country, and they did. They protected our freedoms. Who are they? They are us. And they're out there. They're out there fighting for our country. Just like the bikers, the 2 million biker ride out to D.C. Fighting for our country, waving the American flag in solidarity with all of us. All right? I get really excited because we have huge groups of people who are saying no more, who have been totally affected, all right, by the way this government has run us into the ground. The good news is it is starting to spark our citizens. It is starting to make citizens think, wow, what the hell is going on? And this is where we have the opportunity to get out of our contradictive state, okay? Where we say we hate the government, we hate the corporations, whatever you want to say, however you want to say it. At the same time, they need to do something. They need to do something. They have.
I agree with the majority of what you're saying, Roxy. My feeling of all of this, yes, we're all very upset. We're all very done with this system. And I feel that, as someone who has been a Democrat, who has been a Republican, who's been a Libertarian, who's been an independent, I'm getting ready to jump on board with the Green Party at this point. But nothing seems to change. There is no magic pill. There is no magic party that seems to be representative of the people. Now, let me clarify. So far, we've only had the Republicans and Democrats in office here in the United States. And I'm sure this is the same paradigm going around the world in different parliaments and whatnot, and other quote-unquote American-made democracies that we've installed. But they all seem to be answering to the same master, and the same master is money, the same master is the corporation. But yet, with every election that we have, with every election that comes up, every campaign, we still seem to have people that are afraid not to vote within that two-party system. We still have people that are afraid to vote their intuition, afraid to vote what their gut is telling them, because we are so motivated to keep the other guy out. Whether it's keeping out the liberals or keeping out the wacko right-wing lunatic that wants to, make women's vaginas illegal or whatever. We're dealing with that in Virginia now. That's why I bring it up. But it just seems that people aren't voting their conscience, and that is where the contradiction comes. That's where the cognitive dissonance comes in. And I must say that from a spiritual perspective, when we are living in cognitive dissonance, especially when it comes to the way that we handle our government, or the way that and when I say handle our government, I mean the way that we deal with it internally. How do we process our government? How do we process the fact that we need to pay taxes? Of course we need to pay taxes. We need roads. We need, I don't know if we need police anymore because now they're militarized, but we do need some form of protection. Excuse me. We need certain things from a government level, and what I mean by that, again, education, roads, infrastructure, things like that, regulating the bad guys. I understand that we have that, but when that particular body, that particular idea, like the government, a great example is we were watching Food Inc. Today during the pledge drive. And they were just showing how even the USDA has no power over these mega corporations. And yet we're supposed to entrust the USDA to protect us from E. coli, salmonella, and all these things. But these guys with their great attorneys and their lobbyists, they sway the judge. And, we're eating E. coli. This woman lost her 3-year-old son because of a backroom deal. And these backroom deals happen all the time. We know they're happening all the time. So, contradiction in government. The contradiction for me is the government is supposed to represent the people. The government is supposed to protect the people. But we have now gotten to the point, now this is the part that I don't think people realize. We have now gotten to the point where even if the government wanted to represent the people, even if the government wanted to protect the people from E. coli, they don't have the power. We have given legally the power to the corporation. We have legally given the power of corruption and made it acceptable within the halls of justice. So is there a contradiction in government? There's a very huge contradiction in government. Yes, government is supposed to fix the roads, help with the sewer system, create libraries, create schools, at this point create healthcare, which they're not doing a very good job of that either. That's a whole nother show. But they don't even have the power to protect us from the huge mega corporations. So how do we reconcile this contradiction? How do we reconcile the idea that in the United States, and I'm sure this is happening across the world in many different countries, how do we reconcile the idea that your Constitution, whether it be American, European, Greek, German, whatever it is, that it really has become null and void due to the fact that your government has made so many deals, so many backroom deals with these mega corporations. A great example was the Monsanto Act, where no one can sue Monsanto for any death or whatnot you may have gotten from a genetically modified organism created by Monsanto. So if the government is legislating the legality of megacorporations to do what they will, what is their role in our life? What is their role? Is it to create that two-party paradigm where it becomes divisive? This media toy to keep us fighting with each other? I say yes. I feel it's at this point, the Democrats and the Republicans are merely tools of entertainment for the masses. They don't even matter. They're just there to put on a show, create divisiveness, while the corporations run wild, do what they wish, and create and cause harm and thrust harm upon humanity without any legal ramifications. So what do? And I'll bring it back to you, Roxy. That's a good one. That's great to leave you on that, huh?
Thanks. Well, first of all, I'm going to run for Congress.
It won't matter.
It won't matter. Exactly. That's why I didn't when I was asked to.
Yes.
The other thing is government can't function without all the volunteers. Go ahead and go on your local government site, your local county, local city government site. I have been serving in my community on government for many, many years. I actually resigned my chairman position in an environmental committee that I was in. This is all volunteer. We work very hard, and there's over 1 million people throughout the United States that are just volunteers for the government who don't get paid anything at all to
Right.
do volunteer work. Let me say, what do you do? So I just wanted to let you know that I've been down that road
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
change from that place. And it doesn't happen because it all trickles up to the to whatever, to the corporations. You said it so well. You said it so awesome. What do we do though? Again, perception. Our own contradiction with it. I'd say the best thing to do for any of us is to get educated. When you get educated, you step out of contradiction. You're no longer in contradiction with your belief system. You step out of that once you get educated. And when we get educated, again, unity consciousness, we start to unify with people like minds or people going after the same goals or what have you to change the world from the inside out. It's an inside
Yeah,
job.
that's it.
All of this is just a 3D matrix we're watching. It's an inside job. So remember,
Life is a contradiction.
but it doesn't have to be a lie. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye. We love you.